Good morning. Let me just take the proper mic. One, two, three. Does it work? Do you hear me? I'm pretty sure that even without mic, you would hear me. I will say something that I'm not very sure if this is appropriate, but Dirk, I really appreciate your song. You know, it's sometimes I feel like for me it's like Kurt Cobain got converted and started singing in our church. The difference is that you know how to sing. You know, so okay. Let's talk about the prophet with depression. You know, this is really interesting topic for me, and I have to tell you something more. Okay, I remember when I heard the discussion in Poland between some pastors and doctors, and they were discussing this topic. You know, if Elijah had depression or not. Here's the thing, okay? We are not psychologists, we are not psychiatrists, so actually it's not our work to judge if he had depression or not, okay? So we just can't say, and basically even if we were psychiatrists, the only way to check if someone have depression or not is to talk to that person and do all the tests and so on and so on. So we can't do it. But all we can know is that he at least had his depression episode. And this is what we know. And I really like this story, you know, because that's really interesting. You know, when Elijah had to run for his life, what happened before? He destroyed 400 prophets of Baal. I would call it a huge success, right? But what's happening here is really interesting, because actually, well, let's read the story, and I will be just stopping and commenting. Okay, so let's read the first King, the chapter 19, and Ahab from the top, and Ahab told Jezebel all that Elijah had done, also how he had executed all the prophets with the sword. Then Jezebel sent a messenger to Elijah saying, "So let the gods do to me and more also if I don't make your life as the life of one of them by tomorrow about this time." So, of course, Jezebel, she was not happy about what happened. That's really obvious. But you know what? I can tell you, as a pastor, sometimes I have this time when I am saying, wow, what happened was so huge that I believe that now everyone should convert and everyone should believe, and yay, the huge success. And what's happening then? Well, nothing. And I believe that this is something that happened to Elijah, because, you know, after the huge success, when he won with those prophets, he might have this feeling, hey, now everyone should see it, now everyone should convert. And what happened? Nothing. Jezebel decided to kill him. Right? So, verse 3. And when he saw that, he arose and ran for his life and went to Beersheba, which belongs to Judah, and left his servant there. And actually, we can, even here, we can see the first thing, the first clue that he had this depression episode. Why? Because he wanted to be alone. Right? He left his friend and he said, no, I have to be alone. So he went further. We read verse 4. But he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness and came and sat down under the broom tree. And he prayed that he might die and said, it's enough. Now, Lord, take my life, for I am no better than my fathers. So actually we have another two clues here that he had this depression episode. What are the clues? The first clue is, I wish I was dead. And the second thing is undermine his work, because he said, I am nothing better. I am nothing better. I'm nothing. Is that true that he is nothing better than others? God sent him himself. So in that time, there were other 100 prophets that were still survived. And God chose himself. God chose Elijah to go and fight for him. And he wins. And actually everything that he is doing is a huge success. And what he is saying? He says, I am nothing better. I am nothing better than others. And another clue is in verse 5. Then he lay and slept under the broom tree. Well, of course, everyone have to sleep sometimes. But actually, when we read the whole story, we see that when he was there, when he was under this tree, all he did was sleep. He was sleeping like all the time. That's typical for depression, right? He couldn't do anything else. He was just there, and he was feeling so depressed, and he wished his death, you know, and that was so terrible for him. But the amazing thing is what's happening next. They didn't have psychiatrists. They didn't have psychologists. So God is sending psychologists or psychiatrists to the prophet. Just look at this. It's true. Suddenly an angel touched him and said to him, arise and eat. And actually after this angel goes away. That's it. So what this angel did? Brought him food. The angel just brought him food, and he said, yeah, I understand that you can be depressed. So he just fed him. Actually, that's even interesting when we see in that story, what did he bring? Verse 6, then he looked, and there by his head was a cake baked on coals and a jar of water. So he ate and drank, and what he did? Lay down and go to sleep. That's exactly what he did. Why? That's depression. I'm not saying that he had depression. I know that might be just an episode, but he had this depression episode, at least depression episode in this situation. So what did angel bring to him? what he should bring. I will read one verse to you. Give strong drink to him who is perishing, and wine to those who are bitter of heart. Let him drink and forget his poverty and remember his misery no more. What this angel should bring, according to some people. Wine, booze. I can tell you something. I remember once, I was helping with Christian charity service in Poland, and we had this place where we were giving food and clothes to poor people. And there was a guy, I really loved to talk to him because he was pretty well educated, I mean like theologically educated. So I really loved to talk to him. And I remember once he came completely drunk. And I said, what happened to you? And he said, well, you know, in the Bible, it's written that when you are sad, you can drink wine. So actually, I just drank some wine because I want to cheer up. And I said, did it work? No, it's even worse. And it's true. Wine doesn't work. Wine doesn't work. Alcohol doesn't work for depression. Actually, this angel brought some bread and water. That's it. Actually, that's pretty interesting because when we will be in our 8 weeks program, you will see that they are suggesting to eat full grain bread. Full grain, actually everything that comes from grain, but full grain dishes. So, this angel exactly brought bread and water. And he let the prophet rest again. But he didn't leave prophet under this tree, because once again it's verse 7, and the angel of the Lord came back second time, and he touched him and said, arise and eat, because the journey is too great for you. So once again he brought food. Actually, if you know someone who's depressed, I can tell you that sometimes bringing some good food is really helpful. You are not doctors, I am not a doctor, I am not psychologist, I am not psychiatrist. I know that I cannot treat other people. Oh, maybe there isn't. Is there anyone who's psychiatrist or psychologist here on this, in this room? No, okay, so I can say that no one here is, okay? Because we don't have this knowledge, we cannot treat others. But we should learn what we can do to support others. And that's our job. I really believe that we should do it. So, verse 8. So he arose and ate and drank, and he went in the strength of that food 40 days and 40 nights as far as Horeb, the mountain of God. That's pretty interesting, because Mount Horeb, it's a little bit more than 300 miles from that place where he was to that mountain. So he had to go there, and it took him 40 days. It means that every day he had to walk for about 8 miles. Not that far, but try to walk further on a desert. Okay? We don't know which month that was, right? We don't know which month that was, so we don't know how hot it was. But he was there, and he was doing 8 miles a day. He was walking 8 miles a day. That's actually even interesting, because once again you will hear that Dr. Nadley will suggest you to do 15,000 steps a day, which is basically about 8 miles a day. That's just interesting, okay? And there he went into a cave and spent the night in that place. And behold, the word of the Lord came to him, and he said to him, "What are you doing here, Elijah?" So he said, "I have been very zealous for the Lord, God of hosts. For the children of Israel have forsaken your covenant, turned down your altars, and killed your prophets with the sword. I alone am left, and they seek to take my life." Well, basically, that's pretty interesting because he said, "I wish I was dead." But when they were trying to kill him, what did he do? He was running for his life. And I can tell you something. No one wants to die. Even when someone is so depressed that wish he or she was dead, no one wants to die. People don't want to die. People don't want to live with fear, with anxiety, with all the problems, all the troubles, all of those bad thoughts that they have, all the mistakes, and so on and so on. That's what they don't want. But they want to live. Everyone wants to live. And actually, Elijah didn't say the truth because he wasn't alone. He wasn't alone. As I said, there were other 99 prophets hidden in other caves. So he wasn't the last one, but he felt like he was the last one. He felt, there is only me, you know. I'm really sure that he just felt that he is all alone with his troubles. And actually what is really interesting, because then we know the story that God showed up and he said something, but God also said, that's verse 18, "Yet I have reserved 7,000 in Israel, all whose knees have not bowed to Baal, and every mouth that has not kissed him." In other words, God said to Elijah, "You are not alone. I am with you, and 7,000 other people in Israel, they are also with you." And that's really amazing. So God did probably the best treatment for Elijah. And that's really interesting because I really love that story. You know why? Because psychology and psychiatry was not invented in times of Bible. And yet we know that everything that this angel did was the best thing he could do for Elijah that time. And I really believe that this is the thing that we should learn how to deal with that problem. Actually, I really believe that depression is like a cancer to our mind. It's something that is slowly killing us. And it's really, really terrible. And the thing is that we have some tools to help ourselves and to help others. And I want to say something very clear. We should use help of specialists. We should use help of psychologists and psychiatrists, okay? We should do it. When I have toothache, I'm not going to the church to pray, I'm going to dentist, right? So the medicine that we have is really helpful, and we always should use it. However, if we are going to a psychiatrist, and this psychiatrist is giving us pills without asking us how much do we sleep, what do we eat, do we exercise? How much do we spend time outside? What's our family relationships, and so on and so on. If that psychiatrist is giving you pills without asking all of those things, he's not psychiatrist. He's your drug dealer. And I believe that this is exactly why we decide to start this 8 weeks program. Because everyone, we believe that we use help of specialists, but there are things that we can do as a Christian, actually as a biblical Christian, to help ourselves and to help others. And those things are really simple. I will not tell you too much. I just can tell you that after I finished my facilitator program, I started using some methods, and I know it works. And that's why I would like to encourage you to be a part of that training. We are not doing this to replace psychologists and psychiatrists in your life. We're doing this to support you. And I believe that this is our call, because this is exactly what God did to Elijah in that story. So, I would like you to watch the introduction to that program made by Dr. Nudley, and it will be played here. So we will see it. It will not be streamed. So I believe that we can link that movie for our viewers on YouTube. But for you, I want you to see this movie here and decide if you want to take part in that program or not, if it's good or not. And maybe after this movie, I'm not sure if Mike would like to say something more, because I will be the facilitator, but he is the director. And he can give you some details about this program. And then, of course, we can sing and pray and eat something, because today we have a potluck. Amen. All right. So let's see this program.